Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the charts for Bitcoin, taking a look at what has been going on most recently and what I would expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you'll be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump right on into this one. Right, so Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is the data source. Now, as I was saying yesterday, pretty much as we were looking at the weekend, we had this kind of flag situation coming on down here, and I was thinking that we were going to drop down right away. But instead, there was a bit of a pump to the upside. So hopefully no one was caught out with this FOMO or this fake pump or anything like that. It was clear that it wasn't going to be too much at this point. Now, the original idea here is this 33,869. Now, technically, it's still possible that we go up there, but it does have me a little bit more concerned of how we get there, okay? Because I think we are adjusting more to the downside than maybe we would like to in order to kind of, see that 33,800. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I think this now looks like based on this recent pullback down here. It's looking like basically a 535 correction, I think, which means we're probably going to end up somewhere down in this low range before we then move on up in a significant way. So what I think this looks like is a correction like this. So basically we have our A, our B, and then we're going to come down with our C. Now I'll quickly remove this one. Sorry about that. And I take this high one just here, and I move this over to the top of our recent high yesterday. You can see this is about 28,712, right about there. Okay, and essentially that would then actually see us as a 5 wave up, a 3 wave coming on down. We won't really worry too much about these sub-wave counts per se, and then from there we have a chance of an additional 5-wave structure up like this. Okay, and again, if we were to now measure that distance right up here to here, and we were to move that over to this low, and let's assume that it hits that 28,712, then it means that our new high is no longer 33,000, but it's actually right up here at 33,207. So I'll go again and put that right on here, 207, and I'll just change the 4 to a 7. Okay, so there we go. So what we end up with is this now potentially a zigzag pattern, which is a 5-3-5 structure. Okay, with that 5th wave kind of landing at about that 33,200 level. Okay, so there's a couple of things here. Obviously, this is one out of possible several different scenarios, but this is the one that I think is probably the most likely based on the momentum of the price, right? So if we take a look at this stochastic RSI, we can see that it's oversold right now, and we want to potentially pull back down a little bit, so we might just expect a little bit of volatility in here, and then a pullback down to the downside. Okay, that should be something that we should be expecting there. And if we come over to the 4-hourly, you can see, let me actually just get rid of that, come back to the 4-hourly. We still got room to fall back down. So this is actually indicating that we are likely to hit that low point. Okay, hit the low, and then we can start a move to the upside. But as always, we have to be balanced out, and we can see here that the 8-hourly is quite high. Okay, and our daily is also quite high. So there's a lot more room to the downside still on the macro side of things. So we should be pretty concerned over those. But for the most part, we should be thinking there's a move that's most probably going to be taking us towards 28,700 on the shorter time frames. And then, one of the possible outcomes is then the 5-wave move upwards. It is, of course, possible that actually we just drop back down and we just continue losing it. Okay, so that's why I've put this low in down here at $28,019. If we take it down lower than that, then that basically would invalidate this move at the top here. We would not see the 5-wave move up. okay, that would actually have them be marked as complete just over here, okay, which is also a possible scenario. And what we're actually witnessing here is potentially some kind of finishing move here, which is rare but can happen, and then some kind of ABC structure up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 coming on down here again. So I think there's a lot of things going on. Too much to really know for certain right this second, but once this kind of bottoms out, we'll know whether or not we've lost this low area of 28,019. We need to stay above that if we want to keep this hopium of moving up to 33,000. And you know, once we're at 33,000, I do anticipate that being the place where we actually then just completely collapse down again, if it hasn't already started. So a couple of things to kind of keep in your back of your minds. And I do hope that no one was caught out with FOMO over the weekend and yesterday. Like, it's one of those things where you can kind of see the patterns in the data, and I can call it as a fake pump, and I can tell you my thoughts and opinions on it. I'm not a financial advisor, I can't tell you what to do, but I do hope that no one was caught out by jumping into the market just because there was a couple of green candles, which were so insignificant on the grand scheme of things. If I take this out into the 8-hourly chart, you can see obviously the amount of analysis that we have been doing here. It is quite cluttered, but essentially everything is kind of guiding us towards these low points. On the lower side, it's 22,900, and on the slightly higher side, it's 23 to 25,000. Okay, so we know that there's more downside to be had, and it's the most probable outcome based on everything else that is going on here. Now, in theory, we could go much, much deeper than this, but for now, this is what is being suggested to us. This is the correction from the $69,000 highs, coming all the way down with a good bounce in the middle there. That was the $48,000 range, and now we're coming down just towards those finishing lows. Once these come in, a big reversal should be happening, and of course, you know, it's at that point we have to, I guess, make a make some judgment calls as to whether or not we think it's going to be setting new all-time highs, and you know, we're soaring on up there, or whether or not we're just going to have another bounce, and it's going to be significant, but essentially only ever leads us down the rabbit hole going further. Okay, these things are unknown from an Elliott wave perspective. What we do know is the next lows, based on how people are behaving in the market right now, are down here. Okay, so based on everything so far, this is the most probable outcome based on the Elliott wave theory, which basically maps the psychology of people in the space. Now, those people who are trading in the space, they're reacting to real world events, they're reacting to emotions, they're reacting to everything market condition wise, and I don't have to pay attention to those because I'm paying attention to their behavior. So I get quite a few comments, I can see them in YouTube and things like that, you know, and they just say, oh, pretty patterns on a chart, you're not paying attention to real world events, World War III, or you know, other macro events, market conditions, or whatever. And I have to argue that actually I'm just doing it through the people who are paying attention, right? I'm mapping their behavior, which is what this is doing. So it's important that we understand what this is and what this is not doing. Okay, it's not forecasting you know, exact moves. It is predicting people's behavior based on their past behavior, and the Fibonacci numbers, which resonates incredibly well with them, and the wave patterns that happen in a very specific sequence. And once you know these things, you can kind of try to predict out where they're going to go. But if those waves change, you can change your outcome before that happens as well. So essentially, that's kind of what's going on here. But guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.